Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Podcast. I want you to be rich. Yes, I want abundant financial success for your business. But I don't just care about your business making money. I care about you too. I want you to be rich in happiness, in the impact you make, in your relationships, and in how you give back. I'm Anna. I built my six-figure business as a side hustle while I was pregnant with my daughter in 2016. Now I've helped dozens of women do the same. I'm here to help you build a profitable, heart-centered, fully booked business with the latest tips on sales and visibility, with proven mindset hacks, and sneak peeks behind the scenes with what's working right now in the online space and in my business. Ready to make more money with heart? Let's go.
I'm recording a podcast episode from bed again. Yes, I have all the nice equipment, but lately I have been, did I tell you my word of the year was slow? Why did I pick that word? Do you ever pick a word of the year and then you're like, that was a horrible idea because now I'm having to do the hard work to do the word. Oh my God. The one year I picked expand, never picked that word. Just kidding. Anyway, I wanted to share post-launch. I ended up making, over $70,000 in a little over a month. And that's the biggest month I've ever had before. And it's interesting because it was by far just the easiest launch that I've had in a lot of ways. This round, I run my high touch program either as a small group mastermind or as one-on-one. And this last round, I really feel like this year, just everything is so wild, right? With politics in the world and wars. And I was really noticing that my clients are needing more attention, more one-on-one support. And so I made the announcement, ended up filling so quickly. Oh my goodness, almost all the spaces filled in the wait list, and then it completely filled by the end of the launch. And it was just a very seamless launch on that end. Personally, it was a hard time because I'm going through some health challenges. Everything is okay, but it was really one of the more challenging months I've had personally in a long time mentally. And I was able to get back with my therapist and everything like that, but really rocked me in a lot of ways. Just so interesting. I think I was a little bit mad at God, the universe, because I was like, oh, when the launch is easy, then life is harder. But isn't that how it always is? It feels a little bit like, when business is smooth, it gives margin for life to kind of kick up dust. And then when life kicks up dust, a lot of times like business is smooth. So I just want to normalize that. Anyway, just want to come in here and share today a little bit about the launch and some thoughts I had from it and some nuggets. Make sure you go back and listen to, I'm going to tag my last podcast I did when I had a successful launch with the mastermind, because I feel like everything that I talked about in that episode that I did differently around like pushing a wait list and a lot of different tactics than I've used 10 years ago, I also applied to this launch. So if you're wanting a more like tactical episode on like really practical strategies, I talk about the importance of getting new brand photos, like just some of those nitty gritty practical tips that if you want to like write down 10 things and check them off, you'll be so much more likely to have a very successful launch. Go please and listen to that one, because I really feel like for heart-centered women, there's not a lot of like heart-centered, really practical business advice as far as like, this is the strategy that's working right now that feels good as a heart-centered entrepreneur, that doesn't feel icky, that doesn't feel spammy, that doesn't take up a lot of your time, but that actually works. So please, I'm begging you, go back and listen to that episode. But today I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about, maybe I'll tell you the story and then I'll unpack it, right? So in the middle of some transitional things in my business, I'm going to share all of them right now, but in the middle of some transitional stuff. And I remember I was like really kind of like having like a pushing energy. And I even remember, I was voxing some of my girlfriends that aren't in business about it. And I was like, I think I just need to like push through this one thing and then everything will get easier. Right. And I remember saying that out loud and then remembering how during corporate, I would feel that same way where I was like, oh, I just have to push through this. And then I cannot push so much, right? And while I think there are areas in business that we need to work a little bit harder or do a little bit more, certainly at the beginning of your business, you're doing everything from scratch. You're doing an email list for the first time. You're right. But I don't know. I just want to challenge a little bit of how I was thinking in that moment, because then I had the health scare that happened and all of a sudden I was like, or even before that, I was just a little bit like, do I really need to be going this hard? And by going hard, I don't mean like in your schedule, because I was really still working a 3-day work week for the most part. But I also mean like mentally and physically. Have you seen those reels that people post that are like encouraging you to like chop your veggies and do your laundry without it seeming like a bear is chasing you? And I think just for most of my life, I really have operated in a like I'm the type of person that's like, okay, I'm cleaning the house and I'm just very efficient, right? I'm like, okay, while I'm here, I'm going to like pick up this thing. And like, and while I'm out on this errand, I'm going to do that Amazon return. And while I'm right, like, I think and I feel like I've had seasons of life where I've had to almost operate like that. But I think I'm just really trying to figure out, what does it mean to slow down? And when life demands it from us, because we're like, wow, I'm burned out, or wow, I'm sick, or wow, I have this, life-threatening situation happening, right? Like, I think it's just a real wake-up call of like, what does it look like to sit and be still and like slow things down? And I've just been thinking about it a lot lately. I've also been thinking about it with the whole Artemis mission. Did you guys, if talking about the moon mission irritates you, then you can just skip the rest of this episode, because I am obsessed. Like, there is nothing like, number one, I think our world is just like craving good leadership, like people of integrity that have worked hard to get where they are, that are smart, that are emotionally intelligent. Like, we need more of that in the world. Okay. But it's just been such a joy to watch them. And I feel that has slowed me down too, because it's just been like what really matters most, right? When we think about our world from the galaxy perspective, right? It's like, wow, we are the small little floating dot. My kids have been really into Pix bricks, which are these like little building blocks. And my son even like made me a world with a little rocket on it, because he knows how much I've been enjoying following the mission. And it's just something like perspective. It's just like that permission to like slow down. Like, why are we going so quickly? So I don't know. It's just been something I've been thinking about lately, is like, how do I practically slow down in my life? I remember feeling this right before also I chopped to the 3-day work week. But even since then, I think I've been challenging myself, like, how do I continue to do less and feel good about it? How do I continue to rest more? How do I continue to prioritize my health, my body, my mind? And it's a real journey. I think as women, like, what's built and baked into us is that women are doing so much of the invisible and emotional labor in our homes. So I think it's like a complete rewiring to, like, for me as a mama, it takes mindful diligence to be like, no, you tie your own shoe, right? Or no, even though I could do all the chores, right? Like, we've been doing this thing lately called closing shift, where there's like, 10 things we do to shut down the house, right? Sweep the kitchen, put the clothes from the day into the laundry, like all the things that we try to do every single night. And I'm really, even though it's harder, trying to change my energy from doing it myself to reminding my kids, okay, do your closing shift. Great job. And I think it takes so much work for us as women to do less, to slow down. It's harder to do things slow. It's harder to do less, right? And I think we take that, if we're exhausted and we're in survival mode, then it's almost like, why is it even worth it, right? I see this with women that hire team for the first time or subsequent team members. And it's like, oh, it's going to take so much work and money to hire team, right? It's so much easier to just do it myself. And I think short term, yes. But I think we need to play the long game. And that is that over time, it makes sense to do the hard work, to plan and to do the mindset work, to get help so that we can slow down, to set up systems, to set up processes. In the past 6 months, I've been doing, I should do another episode on this, but a major overhaul of the back end of my business in a way I've never done before. I feel like I've always had pretty good systems and processes, but about 4 months ago, I had a realization of like, ooh, all of the ways that our project management could be even better in how we manage clients and how we manage our launches. A lot of the way I do launches is pretty rinse and repeat, is pretty boring. And so I just had this aha of like, there's so much more we could be doing better. I could be doing better with my 3 team members to make things more smooth and efficient. So I really sat my team members down virtually and was like, I'm going to basically overhaul our back end. And I'm going to be honest, like anytime I do this, there's a little part of me that's like, oh, like, is it even worth it? It's going to take so much time, so much money for a future payoff of things being more efficient. But right now it's going to be messier. We're going to be more miserable. Is it even worth it? Like, those things still go through my mind 10 years in, and I know that it will, but I think we're so afraid of the mess. We're so afraid of like the initial discomfort that I think it really holds us back. And we're still in the middle of it, but already I can see such a shift in like how much more automated things are, how much smoother things are. And it's just been such a blessing. So anyway, it's been this interesting duality of like having this super successful big cash month and feeling like I'm set up for some big cash months ahead. But then on the back end, feeling like I'm learning some hard lessons around needing to slow down and take care of my body. And then also learning some interesting lessons about like systems and team. And I think in business, like I'm really noticing like things always repeat themselves, right? Like we need to work on being confident selling, and then we make a ton of sales, and then we need to work on having the back end of our system be smooth so we can keep our clients happy and serve them well. And then once things are smooth again, then we have more capacity to get more visible and make some more sales, right? So it's just so interesting to me that we think in business we can like skip over something instead of like lingering in it, because that's almost always going to repeat itself, right? We'll always need to get better at messaging. I talked a lot about that on the last podcast episode I did about the successful mastermind launch I had and how I really revamped my messaging in a big way. We'll always in business need to be updating our messaging. You know, I just recently did a masterclass called Brand Keyword Masterclass that really talks about the importance of updating the words that we're using in our business. A lot of times our work doesn't change behind the scenes, but how we market and message it needs to be relevant to how people are thinking right now in 2026. My kids always say the word cap now, like that's not true. And it just this reminder that messaging and wording changes in time and in history, and we have to update our messaging and be willing to do that, right? Same thing with our visibility. We have to update the ways that we're getting visible and the ways that we're reaching our clients. Like I've been thinking about doing a Substack lately just because I'm like, I started off as a blogger and I'm like, do we really get to go back to long form writing? I'm so excited. But it's just interesting to see like, and then even with sales, like how do we do new sales tactics that are grounded in what's working right now in 2026. I have a program, Get and Coach, just like a 90-day life incubator for clients that are, yes, looking to sign their very first clients, but I really see it also as the magic tool for women that are like at 5, 8K months and really feeling stuck in scaling their business to 10, 20K months. Because I really think we get in these little ruts, right? Either with our messaging or our visibility or our sales or our team. And we need to be willing to change things up, to shake things up, right? Like maybe you need to do a new one-on-one program, or maybe you've been doing one-on-one and you need to do a new group program. There's something I think about, like, I love helping women and getting coached do that, like having like a new burst of energy, because when we change, it takes inertia. When we change, it doesn't feel good initially, right? Like I think about my clients that work with me for 6 months in 3-Day Entrepreneur. In that curve, by the end, right, they are making a lot more money. They are signing way more clients. Their business is on a 3-day work week. But in the middle of it, it gets messy usually before it gets clean, right? We're trying new things. And on the way to trying new things, we have micro failures, which is great because we're having data to know it's not working, right? But it doesn't always feel good, right? Same day with the 3-month getting coach experience, right? You are, okay, I'm ready to revamp my marketing. I'm ready to get visible, right? I'm ready to start this new program. It doesn't always feel good on the way. And that's where I think that coaching is essential. I'm going to go as far as to say I don't think I would have had any of the success that I have if I didn't have coaches. Because think about our human brains for a second. We're wired to avoid pain. We're wired to not try things new. We're wired to avoid discomfort, right? We're wired to stay safe. And so we really need a coach that's saying, actually, I need you to do the opposite. Like I know that webinar quote failed, but now that we have data to know why they didn't sign up for that one, I need you to do it again. I can't tell you how many of my clients have had come in with existing failures and then turn it around and have massive successes and massive launches and are able to sign clients. And it is because, in that murky messiness and the ability to persist and to change and to shift is really what causes the breakthrough. So in conclusion, I just want to share, I think what I've been thinking more and more as I've been like looping around this cycle of learning the lesson of like, I think every time I make more money, I've also learned the lesson of like, wow, how do I also make this easier? How do I accept? I remember this happened at the very beginning of my business. When I first started making money, I was doing therapy at my day job, and then I was doing life coaching on the side. And I remember people were paying me in my PayPal for life coaching. And I just remember it feeling so easy. And I remember having the instinct of needing to make it harder, right? Like wanting to sabotage because it felt so fraudy to make money easily. And I would say there's probably been like 5 times over the last 10 years that I've had like a quantum leap or income breakthrough of an income ceiling. And every time I've had to really be mindful about my money mindset work and really telling myself like, no, the more money I make, the easier my life and business gets. The more money I make, the easier it gets. And it's safe for me to acclimate to that, right? But here, there's 2 pieces, right? There's one piece, but the other piece is knowing that in order to get to more money and more ease, that we need to be able to endure some level of discomfort. Now, I think what I'm realizing is it can be slow work. It can be nervous system aligned work. It doesn't have to mean hustle. It doesn't have to mean push. I think that's what I used to make it mean in my day job is like a push energy, like the energy where you're skipping your lunch breaks, the energy where you're losing a ton of sleep, the energy where you're like that. No, I don't think that that's necessary. I do think that there is a level of discomfort, right? Like the other day, I've had a few clients that have done webinars and they're like, oh, but there's a ton of strangers. I'm like, that's the point. There's supposed to be strangers on there, right? I'm not saying we're not going to be uncomfortable, but what I am saying and what I'm thinking more and more lately is I don't think there has to be that like push energy. I don't think there has to be the nervous system dysregulation. I don't think there has to be the panic. And I think I have another little story I want to tell you too, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Sorry, I want to keep it short for you guys. I think that panic is an interesting thing, right? I've experienced panic in different times of my life, in different times of my business. I experienced a little bit of panic, last month when I was going through some medical stuff. And panic is interesting because I realized that I think sometimes my body channels panic because it's almost similar to nervous system regulation. Stay with me for a second. I think when I'm in like deep survival mode, it almost feels like I remember during some hard situations in my marriage, feeling what I thought was nervous system regulation, but I think it was actually like freeze and deep panic. But it almost felt good to me because it was like stillness. It was like focus. I know this sounds like extreme, but maybe it's almost like during a war, right? And this is a horrible analogy, but you're just like, things are so chaotic and things are so life-threatening that you're almost like everything is calm and focused and your adrenaline is running and you're almost laser focused. And I think during certain seasons of marriage survival, I really got in that, but it almost felt good because it almost like zapped me out of my busyness. It almost zapped me out of the like noise because all I was doing was like really trying to survive. And I think I was almost in that light state of panic for like sometimes hours, sometimes days, sometimes months at a time. Right? And so I think when we're overworked, overwhelmed, busy as women, the panic can almost feel good because it's like freeze, which is a little bit better than chaos. And I know this is so demented. And I want to acknowledge too, I know that in our world right now, there are women that are actually in active war zones. So I do not want to minimize the gravity of that situation, right? And I know like domestic violence situation is like a different situation, but I'm drawing some parallels, but I know I'm drawing that naively in some ways, right? But I think I realized like, okay, what does it look like and it sounds crazy, but I think as I've been working on having a life that feels slower, that feels calmer, I think it was one up level when I went from like a busy life to like cutting back, but replacing that with like busy things that I enjoy, like yoga and dance, which honestly, I'm not mad about. I'm a person that likes to be busy, right? But I think I've also been thinking about like, how do I also cut things out of my life and not replace it with good busyness, but how do I replace it with like silence? And how do I replace it with like what I would consider to be like laziness? Like whether it's like laying in my bed or taking more time doing my chores or like slowness. And I think for me, I had to go from like a busy life to a busy work to like busy hobbies, because for me, it felt better about like, okay, I'm not going to be working, but I am going to be doing yoga. I'm not going to be working, but I am going to go to dance class, right? But I think for me, the next evolution has been like, how do I also slow down to keep my hobbies? But I think my life and business is getting so efficient where I actually have room. Like, I don't want to add any more hobbies. Like yoga and dance is plenty for me, right? So what do I do with that extra time, right? How do I fill it with a stillness? And for me, it feels similar to seasons I've had of like freeze or panic, but in a good way. I don't know if this is making any sense at all. You guys are thinking I'm crazy. I am a little crazy. But it had like those times where there is like a healthy numbness, stillness, aliveness. Anyway, it's just what I've been thinking about and just journeying through, right? I think some women, it depends on your temperament too. I'm someone that like, I'm an ENFP, I'm an extrovert. So I love to be around people and I love busyness. So some of you might be able to jump from working a lot to just like cutting out and just living. But for me, I had to go from like working a lot to like working part-time and like living a lot, like living a vibrant life, taking my dance classes, taking my yoga. But it's like, okay, now for me, the next level is I think I can keep my dance classes and yoga, but now I think I get to layer on even more open blank time and stillness. And yes, I applied for Meals on Wheels, and my kids and I are hopefully going to be doing that soon and volunteering and giving back. But I think as women, it's also interesting to see, how do I just use that space as like nothingness, right? How do I just slow things down on my Mondays and Fridays where I either work light or not at all? How do I allow myself, like, the other day, I just literally had a day of like watering my garden, tidying my bedroom a little bit because that's kind of soothing to me, going to yoga, eating a slow lunch, nerding out about the Artemis space mission. And that's really all I did that day, right? Like it's almost like I'm like a stay-at-home mom for myself. And I think as women, like it's just interesting and I know that that's a luxury. And I know I probably would have irritated myself by saying that a long time ago. And I don't even know that I even desired that. But I hope that someday, my prayer for you is you get to a place where you get to have time for, yes, the things that are important to you, like caring for your loved ones, caring for your family, whatever success looks like for you. But I hope that after that, the next level is I hope you have more nothingness in your life. And I think like for me, I'm realizing like that is what my body needs most, is quiet, is peace, is nothingness, is peace, is quiet. And I think when you've been in seasons of chaos, quiet for me felt really activating and unsafe. And I think in our world, there's just like no shortage of distractions, right? I've been loving the Brick app because it just like, I can't go on my phone if I even wanted to. It's on timeout. But I don't know. It's just interesting to think through what slowness means. And even in push chapters, like what does that mean, right? In little push chapters of my business, how do I push, but not with a pushing energy, right? How do I work a little extra? Maybe I'm even working a few more hours, but it's not with like a panicky energy. But I'm still feeling the same slowness that panic brings, in the sense of like, I'm still bringing the world is numbed out and I'm just like channeled here. Anyway, it's just what I've been thinking more. I would love to hear your thoughts if this is something that you think about. And I would love to hear from you. Are you in a season of newness, of doing a little push, of launching something new? And how can you do it and stay brave and not weasel out of it? Because here's the thing, I think especially as ambitious women, I actually think when I think about my clients, I think my clients get the most dysregulated when they're actually not changing and adapting and doing something brave. I think we think hiding and playing it small is better for our nervous system. But I don't think that it is, because I think there's like a level of dissonance that happens when we know we're not living out our life purpose. And not that there isn't moments for rest, but it's just interesting because I think the stress that comes with trying something new, using your voice, making an impact is actually far less than the stress that comes from staying in something that we've outgrown. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business model, whether it's a business partner, whether it's a message, whether it's a visibility tactic, I think that it takes way more. And it may not look like it, but it sure will feel like it in your body, right? And so I think slowness doesn't necessarily mean not growing your business, right? But I really think, and for me, I actually think that it's easier to find slowness during seasons of growth when you're in alignment. Because I think as women, like think about a plant, we're meant to grow, not all season long, right? My beautiful former life coach, Maggie, had this phrase of flowers don't bloom in all seasons. Maggie Reyes, she's amazing. And so I'm not saying you have to bloom in every season, but I do think a flower wants to continually grow year after year, right? How do we do that in a way that feels slow, in a way that honors our nervous system, but that we are continuing to grow? Because I think as women, we are most at rest when we are in alignment, when we are growing, when we are feeling challenged, when we are making money, when we are feeling resourced. Like, you're a blooming flower. Like, don't hide yourself in the shade. Like, step out into the sun, right? Like, I think we're meant to grow. We're not meant to just survive. Like, we're meant to bloom. We're meant to flourish. And I think about a flower too, like it grows very slow. My kids and I are doing a little garden in the yard right now, and we check on it every day, and it actually is growing every day, but we don't always notice it growing every day. It's kind of slow, right? But every few days, we're like, actually, the green onions do look bigger. Actually, look, there is a strawberry growing, right? So that's what I mean, right? Like slowness, growth, challenge, leaning in. Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, I know this is all over the place, but I hope it was useful to you. Sending you the biggest hug on your heart-centered journey, wherever you're at. And if you haven't yet joined waitlist for Getting Coach, that's the next thing that's opening up. And if you're listening to this, I'm guessing it might be a sign that it's your time to take 90 days to get live coaching with me. It's me personally in that program coaching you. I gamify it, so it's really fun. And you're able to turn in your worksheets to me. I answer them personally. There's live coaching, there's e-support, and it's really 90 days if you're looking to sign coaching clients, whether you're signing your first ever coaching clients, or again, you're in that 5 to 8K range and you're ready to really burst out and be brave and learn a new way to market and grow your business and scale it in a way that is it's challenging, but it feels doable. And there's this slow energy. There's a slow energy. I know it's just my word of the year, but I'm going to manifest this for all of us. How do we make more money this year? But how do we make it feel slow? Oh my God, I almost forgot to tell you, if you want to learn more about Getting Coach, I have a free 20-minute workshop. It's going to change your life. I share the exact strategy that you can use to sign your next coaching clients as a heart-centered entrepreneur. It's actually the exact strategy I used at the very start of my business, and I use this same strategy to this day. I can't wait for you to learn about it. So it's a free little masterclass, 20 minutes long, and I've gotten great feedback from women that have watched it and used the strategy I teach in there to sign clients. I hope that you watch, and I hope that you join me on the wait list for the next round of Getting Coach.
Thanks for hanging out today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can make sure to stay updated anytime a new episode drops. And I would love for you to join me in my free Facebook community. It's called The Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. We discuss the podcast episodes. I regularly go live and do free trainings. And you may even meet your newest biz bestie. So you can join at heartcenteredcommunity.com. It's absolutely free, and I cannot wait to see you in there.